Why don't you back it up just a bit, too?
We're live on it.
Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna wait until... Hold on, pause it. I'm just gonna wait until there's at least... Because it's short, so let's wait until there's, like, one person here.
But imagine what this is going to be like on YouTube.
Well, then we can cut it. Alright, there's one person. Alright.
Okay. Hello, one person out there.
And then I love her legs. Like, here, here, I'll do it. She does the little, like...
Ooh, yeah.
Here, I'll get a little closer.
Santa Monica Boulevard.
Okay, why don't you twist that around?
Wait.
5, 6, 7, 8. QuaranTEASE Cafe. QuaranTEASE Cafe. You never know that we're gay at the QuaranTEASE Cafe.
At the QuaranTEASE Cafe. Well, no.
Oi, oi, motherfuckers.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna get this set up here.
Right.
Turn us around. Look at my chest. Ooh, my chest. 1 down and 2 down. We're getting close. Hello, everyone out there. Welcome to Facebook Live Land. How are we all doing today? Well, hello, Miss Kitty in the background. Where are we?
Okay, actually, I think just down just a skosh more.
Skosh, an accurate unit of measurement.
And then, there we go.
Kitty in the background.
And then, yep, there we go. I think we're getting this down to a science. Actually, let's just tilt it that way.
Ever so slightly.
And then there you go. So welcome to QuaranTEASE Cafe, everybody. Episode 14. I'm Matt Knife.
I'm Cubby Hall.
And this is the Return of the Living Dead edition of QuaranTEASE Cafe. So we're going to celebrate everything punk, everything just like, cheesy, awesome horror comedy happening. And I feel like we are so jammed together. Okay. There we go. I know, I swear I think this tripod is, like, different today. Like, it's mutated into something else.
At this point, we're probably gonna have to paint spike marks on the floor or something, just to, like, that's where it goes.
If you guys like what you see, you can Venmo us at Matt-Knife. Or if you are broke, just enjoy the show and comment and interact with us and keep this going, because it's fine. Hello, Miss Cherry Delight. I was hoping you would tune in because I was thinking about you a lot. Because, you know, we watched this together one day, and it was really cool how you were talking about all the different zombies and how they moved. And then I was like, wow, Miss Cherry Delight really knows a lot about, like, movement. Like, and I was like, that's really cool. So my sister's watching. Oh, Troy's watching. Hi, Troy. Oh, Company XIV in the house now.
Nice.
And Lori. Okay,
Lori,
we're good.
Lori, yes.
Okay, so guys, we're going to start off with a little calming circle here. So it's three deep breaths. So if you guys are also interested, this painting behind me is Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs? And the answer is yes, they will. This I will give you, we'll do a QuaranTEASE Cafe special for $50. So if you guys want it, it's just silly and cute. And I just love it. And I also just felt like it's very on brand for today. So it works out very nicely. So, our weekend was pretty relaxing. It was nice. We got a little bit of sewing done around the house, which was cool. We did a little bit of
ironing.
We did our our workout today, which was nice.
Exhausting.
I did go to the store to get some rum and some Cheetos because I figured that they are the official QuaranTEASE Cafe snack. So I got those. And, so now that there's a good amount of us. So guys, I don't know if you knew this, but the Getty Museum in LA, the art museum, is doing this thing where they basically are encouraging people to recreate famous paintings only using things at home. So it's just like it's a cool thing to like keep people busy and their minds on other things. And Cubby and I are totally into it, and we already have sort of a list going of things that we want to do. And so we'll probably be shooting those like towards like in the middle of the week, towards the end, through the weekend possibly. So if there is a particular painting that you would like to see Cubby and I recreate, obviously within reason of what we have here and what we can mock up or whatever. And I mean, take a look at it. Like, I mean, it's people that like Mom, that olive green slumber, like, what is that called? I'm forgetting.
Sleeping bag?
Sleeping bag, thank you. Like somebody took
pouch.
that exact same one and turned it into a dress. Like, I mean, it's not like they like cut it apart and sewed it back together. I mean, they just draped it on them. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's the kind of level of sophistication that they're going for. Mm-hmm. So, I would encourage all of you to do it if you want to. But then also, we're totally excited about this, or at least I am. Mm-hmm. So, put in the comments what paintings, or just private message me, or it would probably be helpful if you actually sent the picture so that I knew what you were talking about, or at least if you really know the name and the artist, that works too. Mm-hmm. So there's that. So how was your weekend, everybody? Did you miss us? We missed you. And did you see anything good? Like, and again, like, if you guys have questions this whole time, you can ask. So, how are you doing, Scott? Do you have anything to add?
Not at the moment. I'm just like working up a sweat and that dancing, and I didn't even think I was dancing that much. Hence why we need to do the workouts.
So,
while we're at home.
So the theme today is Return of the Living Dead, because we revisited it because it does have Linnea Quigley in it, who is kind of a scream queen. She was in Night of the Demons, which we talked about yesterday. She was in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. I mean, she's been in over 100 horror movies. Mm-hmm. So she came up. That song is from the Nightmare Sisters, actually sung by her. She was in a band called The Skirts, and it was a punk band. And Return of the Living Dead is known as the punk zombie movie because, like, the teenagers are sort of a motley crew. Like, there's, like, sort of a preppy girl, and there's a preppy guy, and then there's, like, a kind of, like, a sporty guy, and then the rest of them are sort of new wave punk inspired, which is cool because there's a lot of documentaries on YouTube about the making of this movie. So if you guys want to fall down a cool YouTube rabbit hole, that's a fun one to go. But, so the word punk keeps coming up, and so I was like, alright, I feel like I have to talk about punk and talk about this movie. So, I guess on a personal level, so my friend, Shannon Wilson, was a punk girl when we were, I mean, she was like, she kind of went through phases, like, she was goth for a while, then it slowly went into punk, and then it was all this, but she committed to everything. And so I got my education of punk music through her and her friends, so I would go and, like, hang out. We go to shows. Now, I mean, these shows were, like, I think one of them was, like, in a high school gymnasium, and we just hung out in the field outside the whole time and talked, like, while they smoked cigarettes and, like, asked people for money. Which I never did that part of it because I was like, I, like, don't have any money of my own, but I have, like, you know, we live in a nice house, and, you know, if I want something, I'll, like, you know, mow the lawn and work for it. And, you know, I mean, I don't need to sit on the street and ask for money, but that's part of it. So we used to hang out at Short Vine in Cincinnati, and all the punk boutiques were there. And I was always really drawn to the fashion of it, but I could never afford anything. It was all way overpriced. And so I could never really afford the uniform, but, like, the whole philosophy of, like, kind of giving no fucks. And I later found out that, like, the Cincinnati punk scene was pretty straight. And so, I mean, there were, like, one or two gay guys that I would see occasionally, but, like, that like, is very straight. And so I found out later that there was, like, sort of this underground punk movement, like, with Pansy Division and... you know, so it was kind of cool. It was, like, really, so, you know, as my costuming skills and my thrifting skills and my, you know, I had more money to buy stuff, I sort of started incorporating some of the, like, punk uniform staples, like the studded collar and, like, tartan plaids and, you know, the leather and all that. So, do you have any punk link?
No, absolutely not. I was so white bread growing up in Florida. Polo shirts and khaki pants, and when Matt met me, he said I was a, like, 35-year-old dressed in a 23-year-old's body. So,
well, the funny thing about punk to me, and I had my finger on it when I was a teenager, but I didn't really have the vocabulary until I started studying costume design. And I actually watched, what is that, like, Salt Lake City Punk?
Yes.
And there's a scene where the girl basically reads the punk guy and says exactly what I wish I had been able to articulate concisely. But the whole, like, you know, punk is a philosophy which you don't necessarily need to be wearing the uniform for. So, like, Patti Smith is punk, and she doesn't look like that. She doesn't have a mohawk. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, she was performing at CBGB's. Sorry, I always get that fucked up. My dyslexic mind just goes, But, so it has a broader face than I think people realize. And, the more I really thought about it, it was like, okay, I'm a faggot, and I don't fit in a box, and I want to wear what I want to wear, and I want to be left alone. Like, I just want to do my thing, and, like, it exists, and that can just be enough. So I was sort of, like, you know, seeing all these kids, and they're, like, $200 stretch pants, and, like, their boots that were, like, $200 to $400, and I was like, this is a fashion show, which I'm into. Like, I'm so into. But I was also not into, like, acting like a dick part, which, you know, luckily the people I hung out with were pretty cool. So, like, I mean, I'd never, like, met a skinhead before, and the second, like, somebody was like, oh, so-and-so's a skinhead, my first reaction was probably the one you're having now, which is, oh my god, neo-Nazi, white supremacist, like, blah, blah, blah. And these people were nothing like that. And I was like, wait a minute, what's going on with this scene? And so it was like, you know, I was never really a part of that, but on the fringe of it, because, like, here's those, like, working-class, blue-collar people who just liked, you know, punk music and rockabilly music and, you know, working-class values. And, like, I mean, oftentimes, and again, keep in mind, this is, like, late 20-something-year-old Matt, early 20-something-year-old Matt. 135-pound nothing, you know? Like, I mean, and this big burly dude that would, like, you know, would be like, Matt, like, you know, if anybody fucks with you here, just tell me. Nobody ever fucked with me. So it was kind of nice because these guys kind of like had my back, and, you know, I mean, they were nice guys. They were really, really nice guys. So, you know, I kind of got, like, you know, just a taste of that, like, community. And then, of course, like, you know, Shannon was part of the Cincinnati street punk scene, and, like, with her music and the Messengers, and just, like, you know, I definitely, my taste went more towards the new wave, because I was like, okay, this seems to be more, like, where I feel a little bit more comfortable expressing myself. But, you know, there was the Met exhibit. Was it the Met?
The Met, yes.
Yeah, and so, like, you know, you just can't get over the fashion. Mm-hmm. Like, the fashion is fashion.
The high fashion.
Yeah.
Haute couture.
Yeah, chaos to couture. Yeah. Let's see, like, what's a really, really good example? So, I mean, here you go. Like, I mean, you just have, like, t-shirt and a studded collar and probably a skirt that she bought somewhere, like, secondhand, and you just throw some safety pins in it, and it's, like, it's the hottest thing in town. You know, but then you can go completely over the top and with shit like this.
Mm-hmm. It's very colorful and bright. It's not just black and gray and dirt.
I mean, you're just deconstructing the male uniform. Like, this is a corporate look, but then it's all, like, graffitied over, and, you know, it's a little off the rails. And so, you know, I don't want to bore you all with that, but, I mean, I just thought it'd be, you know, because the costume designers of Return of the Living Dead, like, really had to think about, like, what they wanted these characters to look like, and originally they wanted to cast actual punk kids, but they were like, well, they need to act, so let's cast actors who are, you know,
make to look the part too. So, yeah, but then you had some of the actors too. One of them was saying is like his agent, because yes, even though it was low budget, these guys still had agents. His agent wasn't sending him out to this movie because he just didn't look the part. He was like a nerd. And he was like, no, I got it. And he pulled together a costume for the audition. And they cast him, and they had to shave a mohawk in his head.
Yeah, because, like, they were so afraid to just ask these actors to, like, can you just wear a mohawk? And I mean, I would have assumed if I was reading a script and it was like, okay, like, Matt Knife is a punk kid with mohawk, I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna have mohawk for the movie, and then I'll probably have some weird haircut, which I'll love and rock, and whatever. But, like, you know, they did all these tests, and the guy finally was just like, you know, you can just give me a mohawk, right?
Yeah.
And, what was that? But I do argue that Linnea Quigley is a punk rocker, because, I mean, again, she was, like, in a band. She was sort of the go-to, like, if you needed, like, female nudity in a horror movie, like, she was the one to go to. And, I mean, this is back when, like, people would, like, really, like, pull her aside and be like, honey, you're never gonna work. Like, I mean, this is gonna ruin, like, you're that girl. Like, you know, you're gonna, like, she took her top off on film. And, I mean, now it's everywhere. So, I mean, she was sort of like in my mind, like, I really think, like, as somebody who takes their clothes off for a living, like, she's an early pioneer in kind of destigmatizing that. So I'm grateful to her on that. Just, I mean, she gets punk rock notes for just being in over 100 horror films, but then also just being in my favorite horror film, Night of the Demons. And then also, you know, just being, like, kind of a slut that didn't give a shit. So, I really respect that. So, and one of the things I think why I respect her is because her birthday is May 27th and mine is May 29th. So she is a Gemini buddy. So I'm like, okay, there's something, that's what it is. That's what it is. Like, so, do you have anything to say about Return of the Living Dead? Like,
not at the moment, though. No, I don't. I think I already said it, and you've said it, and
so,
we all said it, and let's
roughly the plot of it is that, it's the unofficial sequel to Night of the Living Dead, because there's technically 2 sequels to Night of the Living Dead. Like, so there's,
like, they branch.
Yeah, so there's the Romero trilogy, which is like Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, like Twilight of the Dead, like blah 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 of the Dead. Excuse me, the Dead series. And then there's the Living Dead series. So, you know, obviously Romero went the scary route with it, whereas the other one kind of went the more campy horror route, because, like, the more Return to the Living Dead you get, the funnier they just get, and they don't. Whereas this one, I really kind of, like that Night of the Demons, it sort of toes that line of, like, We started watching it, what was it, 2 nights ago? And Cubby went to bed, and I was kind of like, I don't think I want to watch this right now alone, like, at night.
Yeah.
I just, like, I don't often get like that, but I just was like, I turned it off. I was like, I'm going to wait until Cubby can watch this with me. Because the music is sort of eerie a little bit. Like, the zombies don't die, and they're fast-moving, and they're smart. So you have less of a chance. So it just is kind of creepy that way. So basically, it's just like, you know, it's a bunch of teenagers in a cemetery. The dead rise, like, you know, they try to hide in a medical supply warehouse and a mortuary, and the dead come in, and it's just a big hot mess. So
well, you're skipping over so many things here, because it's like, being the sequel to Night of the Living Dead, the setup is the government cleaned up that mess from, you know, 25 years earlier. And so there's these, like, barrels of, like, bodies inside this medical supply company. And the two workers there, they open it up, or accidentally open it or whatever. Like, stuff flew out of there, and then...
like, all the gas came out.
All the gas,
and then
you know,
then,
the first monster with a name, Tarman, comes out, and it's, like, attacking everything. Brains.
I have to do that for...
But then it basically comes down to, it's like they try to destroy one of these zombies, but because you can't kill them, it's like, what they do, burn them and send them up the chimney?
They burn him, and then it goes up
the
into
nearby
the air.
Funeral parlor.
Yeah.
And then it rains down acid zombie rain.
Into the cemetery that's next door, and then all those zombies rise up, which is actually a really cool montage in the film, like, because it's like, there's a scene where, like, it's like a cross section of the ground, so you see, like, the grass and then the dirt, and you see, like, the water going down, and then it goes into the coffin, and you see it, like, drip on the guy's shoe. And it's sort of crazy, but as much as I do know about mortuary science now, like, I'm always like, the title, like, the deaths, the epitaphs are, like, 1890, and I'd be like, there'd be nothing left.
No,
there'd be nothing left of that person. So I mean, they do kind of show like skeletonized like zombies, but I mean, it's just a lot of fun. The movie's just really ridiculous and silly.
Well, and the thing about that too is, like, this also is like, you see that branch of where zombies, the two different ideas of zombies, or 3 or 4, wherever you look at it. Whereas Night of the Living Dead was like slow moving, lumbering, brainless zombies. These are fast moving. Zombies with thought and intention, but still slow.
I mean, they ambush.
They can talk.
Like, it's really, it's like, that's
and
why
set traps.
Yeah, like, that's why I argue that it's kind of frightening, because it's just like to think about it. And the first time I actually saw this movie was my marching band. It was my senior year of high school, and we were all in a hotel. And so my friend Chad and I, who both liked horror movies, like, it was on after I think we watched, like, Real Sex, because like our hotel room had, like, HBO, and we're all like, you know, all these kids from Ohio were like, and the whole next day, like, I remember one of the chaperones was, like, knocking on everybody's door to see what we were watching, and it's like, you guys can't watch HBO, and we're like, sure. But then we ended up watching Return of the Living Dead. And it's funny because, like, I mean, there was, like, 4 of us to a room, so we had to share beds. So my friend Chad was a nice guy. Like, I mean, he was really cool. And kind of like he was more of a metal guy, like a Guar fan. And so, like, I got so freaked out at one point, I was, like, holding on to him like this. And I was like, why are you making me watch this before we go to bed? And he's like, Matt, it's really not that bad. But, I mean, I see his point, but it still frightens me a little bit. I have to admit.
Yeah. Well, because, again, it's like you can't...
I played trombone.
It's like acid rain stuff, and so it's almost like viral zombie stuff, which is like really, well, it's really the scary one too. So, what you reading there? What
Teddy. That is like the zombie calls the police for more ambulances. Yeah, it's like, send more paramedics. Like, and then it also has that, like, creepy, like, little person zombie, too, that, like, runs like this. It's so creepy. Like, it grabs, like, you know, the guy rounds the corner and he sees it and it's, like, eating. Because these zombies only want to eat brains. Which, I'm like, okay, like, there was 2 people that went out and there were, like, 20 zombies. So, like, how much brains, because your brain is like really like the size of a, like, you know, it's the size of your skull, like from here, like, so it's, I mean, it's big, but it's not that big. So I'm kind of like, how are all these zombies like not? It just, you know, it's you can't reason with this kind of like 1985 horror film.
That's the thing; they have to be live brains.
Yeah.
So,
because the eating of brains, like, because apparently being living dead is painful. So it's like the eating of brains is a distraction. So I'm kind of like, okay, that's dark.
Yeah.
That's really dark.
Well, which brings us to that particular scene, which is one of the good things about this film, too, is that there's this really great animatronic puppet in this scene. It's like she's like a skeletonized torso and like dead skin on her face and eyes and everything. And they strap her down to the table. And the bottom, sorry everyone, a little gruesome, but it's cute. The bottom of her spinal column is like flopping around there.
Yeah.
And so
that was the spinal column. Sorry.
And so they're trying to find out. It's like, what do you want? What do you want? It's like, we need brains. Why? Because it stops the pain of death and decay. Brains. But it's a really cool robot there, and
it's kind of
great thing about that scene.
I was thinking about this the other day. It was sort of the first example, at least that I ever saw, of like fast-moving zombies, which don't really scare me at all. Because I mean, give me a good, relentless, slow-moving zombie. Because it's like if the dead are coming out of the ground with rigor mortis and all that, I'm sort of like. Like, it's just, I mean, give me, like, old school voodoo zombies, like, but that's, like, a whole other, like, I mean, we could do a whole zombie mythos episode if you guys want.
Or even mystical comet energy zombies, too, so... Night of the Comet.
Yeah. Melissa was saying, it was like, can't you just rip their arms off and beat them with it? Melissa's bringing this up because that's like a gag that always gets me, is I feel like that's like the biggest insult to a zombie you could ever do, is to rip off its arm and just beat it with its own arm. Like, it's just so insulting. Or leg. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Like, I mean, if you got that thigh place, like, just, you know, right down. So, we got so many people watching, guys. It's so nice to see you all. I hope you're enjoying this topic. So, like, here's the Matt Knife Wikipedia book report on Linnea Quigley. So, as I said, she was a Gemini, so she's just a few days before me. She has been married 3 times, which I thought was kind of punk rock. Like, her second marriage, she got engaged on the set of Nightmare on Elm Street 4. Like, she literally, like, came out of... Because her fiancé is the special effects guy, so she had just come out of Freddy's chest and was covered in KY jelly, which is a lubricant for sex. And he was hosing her off and I guess evidently proposed to her, which I was like, oh my god, that's so romantic and awesome. Like, as we were saying, she is an avid vegan, and she has been since the 70s, and she's a member of PETA, so one of her big causes is animal rights stuff. She was born in Iowa, which I thought was kind of interesting. I was like, it makes a lot of sense, because, a lot of, I don't know, sexually progressive people, like, are from the Midwest, but get out.
Move to California.
So she was in, Graduation Day, which we were talking about the other day. It's come up a couple times when we finally watched that, too, and she was very good in that, and she did get the part because she was willing to go topless, but I think she did a good job. Like, I think she, it was more than that. She's in the Nightmare Sisters, which I also really like, too, because that movie is super stupid and fun.
That's where Santa Monica Boulevard Boy was from.
And she has written 3 books. The Linnea Quigley bio, Chainsaw book, and I'm screaming as fast as I can. So they're all about, like, kind of bios and about, like, horror. So, so that's her. Mm-hmm. So what have people been saying and thinking before we move on to the next segment?
Well, your mom was thinking about the zombies in the Anne Rice Witch series.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I've ever read those.
Well, they're right
she's saying
here.
Those are pretty scary.
They're arms.
My
mom gave me the whole Witching Hour series. Yeah, so Scott, you can read these anytime you want. I still
Yes.
haven't read them myself because, like, Mom, God love my mother, she got me all of them, like, at half-price books for nothing and, like, gave them to me. And, it was in the middle of grad school, and I was just like, grad school burned me out on reading anything. So I'm just now starting to get back into it. Go ahead.
And then Shannon was saying he loved Michonne from The Walking Dead, who would use a katana to cut off the arms and lower jaw of the zombies. Have not watched Walking Dead.
Yeah, I never really thought
Yeah.
about that. That would be a good way to, like, disable a zombie.
Yeah.
Like, if you... I mean, I would think... they could still get you with the top, at which would infect you, but, like, yeah.
But I think these are, like, destroy the head thing, so I think probably even getting at the lower jaw might...
shoot them in the
damage the
brains,
brains
if you want to live. Shoot them in the brains, even the little kids.
No. That was an excerpt from a song by Leslie and the Lies called "Shoot 'Em in the Brains."
It's a zombie. It's Zombie Killer, I think it's called.
Yes,
But
yes.
again, another weird person from Iowa. So the Iowa
right,
is
isn't
coming
she?
on. Yeah,
Yes.
she is.
Oh, which is funny. And then Rose Martin, hi Rose Martin, she likes voodoo zombies. About the loss of free will.
Yeah, like if you see the like Bela Lugosi white zombie, like that's definitely like voodoo like zombie, like because the Bela Lugosi is the zombie master, and so I don't know. To me, like I just sort of feel like when it's a virus, like that's why I never really got into Walking Dead or any of that. Like Walking Dead's way too bleak too. Like I just like I watched the first season of it and I was like, oh my god, like because my own life at that point was pretty uncertain and scary. And I was like, I don't need more of this. Like, I kind of need to go the other direction and never really circled back to it. But, like, to me, like, if it's a virus or something that's real, I mean, because here we are, we're dealing with a virus right now. I mean, it's like, with HIV, being a gay man and stuff like that, I'm like, all right, that's like a real life thing that I have to deal with. And there are ways around that and all that. But, like, there's something about, like, the dead coming back to life and there being like a metaphysical reason, like kind of then throws like the whole like time and space physics, then you could start believing other things about the world too. So like, and it just makes it more distressing to me. So, but that's just me. I mean, maybe you guys like zombies.
See, Cherry likes.
See, well,
Walking Dead
you know,
zombies.
maybe
So
I'll
there you
give
go.
I'll give it another chance again.
Yeah.
Like, I remember my sister also, like, I guess there was like a Walking Dead filter, and she had posted a picture of her like as the Walking Dead thing, and I was like, oh, Melissa, like, I don't want to see you like that. Like, cause it kind of made me sad.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, Melissa, I'd have to shoot you in the head. Like, I mean, I would just have to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, and I
Yeah.
mean, wouldn't you want me to? Like, if you were a zombie, all right, let's comment on that. If you were a zombie in front of your family or friends, would you want them to shoot you in the head? I mean, I think the answer is yes. But, I mean,
Yes.
again,
well,
like...
I would hope that, we're all learning this lesson about, sacrificing ourselves for the greater good. In that we are quarantining at home and not making other people out sick. Do not take me the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
But,
talking about zombie
taking
apocalypse,
ourselves
survival,
out of the
like,
situation.
they're
But
beating
yeah,
down the
yeah.
door here. Like, I'm not talking about in, like, this scenario.
yeah.
Like, in this
No.
scenario, I mean, oh my god.
Yeah,
like,
but now, and somebody already mentioned it, it's like they like the funny ones too. Cherry, she likes Shaun of the Dead. I was a fan of Zombieland. I have not seen Zombieland 2 double tap.
Oh, I like Shaun of the Dead, too.
Yeah, Shaun of the Dead is
That's
good.
true.
I mean, there's
Hi, Paul
sad moments
Ferris.
in there too, but it's like, it's still, I like that humor and pathos kind of going in. So yeah.
Yeah. So, why don't we, guys, keep the comments coming because we've been talking about a broad subject here, but, like, I was thinking about doing some live painting today. So, we do have the Bob Ross painting to finish, which we'll do probably Thursday. But today, I wanted to be on brand and on theme, and we're going to do a little portrait of Linnea Quigley for you. So, we're going to turn everything around. Cubby's going to man the comments so you guys can still engage with him. He can hear you. He's just watching it too, but the camera's going to be on the canvas. So,
Sorry. Okay.
so
Round,
Hold on,
get around. Oh. He's changing his clothes.
well, I don't want to get.
He's semi-nude.
I don't want to give
Just
my.
topless.
I don't want to get my nice clothes messed up
His tits are out.
because I'm a professional.
Here, have another look at this painting. Isn't this a wonderful painting? Will my cat eat my eyeball when I'm dead? If you want to purchase this painting, let Matt know. You can also Venmo him at Matt-Knife. If you'd like us, tip us, because that's how that works in nightlife.
Look at Cubby filling time.
Filler.
Okay, and I have to turn the light down because it's glaring.
Now that no one's looking at me, I can take off some of this leather. It's
okay,
hot.
so guys, I'm just gonna get everything opened up here a second because, like, you know, I work in acrylic, and acrylic can dry out, like, just in that, like, from the beginning to now, it could have potentially dried out, and I'm trying to conserve my art supplies. I mean, I have plenty of stuff going on, and Blake is still delivering, but, like, I'm still just trying to be like, okay, maybe, you know, might need to use this until June, you know, you just never know. I bought a big-ass thing of white, which made me very, very happy. So, guys, what I did here is this is a piece of 300-pound watercolor paper, and I'd actually painted on this in grad school when I was in Texas, and it was just a painting that was awful, and so, like, I decided I just gessoed over it, painted it, repurposed it, new energy, because look, here I am on Facebook with wonderful friends watching me do awesome art, so life is good, right? So, after I gessoed it, then I painted it black because I knew that I kind of wanted to start it off by being very, like, you know, you'll see the quality of it is different. Like, you know, you play with highlights and you can do all this cool stuff. And I want it to be moody and interesting. So then I sketched it out in, it was just like colored pencil, like a white colored pencil, which isn't great because with the acrylic, it doesn't, like, it's plastic, so it doesn't quite have the tooth. So if you really wanted to get some fine detail, you could do like a clear gesso over that and then sketch on top of that. But I'm also like, you know, part of this is it's free, it's loose, it's fun. So I found a pin-up picture of just a general naked female body that looked like Linnea Quigley's. And because I spent a lot of time looking at her body, looking at pictures, and just I found somebody was close in the pose I wanted, and then I'm just going to put her head on it. So, but of course, I'm going to do zombie. So this is her as Trash from Night of the Living Dead. And so basically she's stark white, because when she becomes a zombie, like, she just goes totally white, and then she has, like, bright, hot pink, red hair. So, it's going to be a lot of fun. So I think we're going to stick pretty much, like, with a, black and white color palette with, like, shocks of color here and there, because I have, like, this, you can see here, it's just implied, like, just some grass and things like that, because these are the headstones. So we're contextualizing her in a space. So, so if you want to think about it this way, this is sort of like a female nude tutorial. So, since it's already so dark, I think I'm going to already go ahead and throw some highlights in here. So, you can't really see because I did it, like, super loosely, but I'm deciding that the light is going to be coming from here. So that's something that you always want to do, especially when you're making it up, because then, like, you know, like, for instance, the top of her boob here, you know, is going to be highlighted, and then this... And then, you know, so this side is going to be really dramatic. Whereas this side, not so much. So, see, look at that. That already has, like, a lot of life and energy to it, just based on just establishing that, you know. So, just get some of the details in here because I don't want to lose them. Just establish where I want those to be. And just, you know, again, you know, we can paint over everything. That's the beautiful thing about acrylic, is watch in 5 minutes these lines are going to be totally clean or, like, totally dry, and you can just paint over it. And so she's holding on to some brains down here. She's just holding on to them. She's like, oh, you want to Do you ever think about the many ways you can die? It's so funny because she does this whole speech about like all the crazy ways that you can. And she's like, my biggest fear is that a whole bunch of old men just grab a hold of me and tear my clothes off and then just tear me apart. And then of course she runs into the graveyard later, totally naked, falls in a giant puddle, and the zombies, who are all old, dead men, rip her apart. But then she comes back totally intact, not a shred of like any kind of dirt on her. Like,
yet she is wearing a latex zombie mask. So.
Whatever. It's all fine.
Well, it's great because it's like for a whole section of that movie, her entire costume is just naked and leggings, naked and leg warmers. At one point she has a shirt, but yeah, she's just naked.
And then hats off to her too, because like she was totally like, naked and wet through most of the. I mean, that's like some,
yeah,
like
Rose
while
Sorry,
shooting. Yeah, go
Rose
ahead.
Martin is asking you, Matt, what is the first movie that scared you?
We talked about it one episode, Michael Jackson's Thriller. Mm-hmm. I would say that was what really, really frightened me the first time. So you're just kind of getting the rhythm of the body, like with these like little marks here, just trying to. I know it might not be making a whole lot of sense at the moment, but it will all like tie together here pretty soon. So what are people saying?
Not much. I think they're just all mesmerized that you're painting. Just like watching. So
Gotta get them nips.
Nips.
All right.
Because
So
they
I think
exist. They're a feature. The eyes, or the nipples, or the eyes of the. I don't know.
the nipples are the eyes of the face.
Or the eyes of the chest.
I
The
said
eyes
that
of
to
the
Miss
nipples
Cherry
of the
Delight, and she was very confused.
face. What?
Do you get it now? So again, like if you were watching the Bob Ross painting, I'm just gonna kind of fill in. Gray is so wonderful. Like it's just such like if you don't know what to do, just put gray. Like because that usually like it'll at least get you to the answer. Is what I usually find. So is the Lady Capone watching perchance?
I do not know. Let us know you're here, Mr. Capone, if you are. But I have not seen him comment yet. So Generosity is watching. She loves the way we look. Brian King is watching.
Hi, Brian King. Oh, I miss you so much.
Tommy Markovsky is watching. What scared me, Mary? I think it was The Wizard of Oz. The tornado scene. I think that might have been the first thing that like really scared me.
Yeah, I'll agree with that too.
Yeah.
Mom will back that up.
Followed not long after by Terminator, because I did catch that was on TV at some point. I remember like, oh my god, what are these machine things and they're killing, and oh my god, what's going on? And yeah, although that was really early, I don't know how I would have seen that on TV. Oh well, but yeah, I think Wizard of Oz was the first thing that scared me.
Yeah, Terminator. I watched Terminator a lot, and then I watched it like too much, and then it really freaked me out. Like I remember I cried a lot about it. My mom was like, "I think you need to like not watch this movie for a while," and she was so right.
Yeah.
Because it's dark, I mean, that's like a, there's that whole like nuclear war scene, and I mean, it's not a fun,
Yeah.
reality.
Well, that scene where it's like where Arnold Schwarzenegger finally catches up to her in the bar, and then what's his name? John Connor finally catches, or his assistant or whatever catches up with her in the bar, and it's like everything slows down, and you see these slow reaction shots, and it's like holy shit, because for the last half hour she's been running around like, oh my god, someone's killing Sarah Connors. And that actually, I thought that was a beautifully shot scene and well composed and edited and sound and so forth. So yeah. Teresa's also saying that the tornado and the quicksand of water from I'm totally blanking now. Wizard of Oz. So
There's alright, so Linnea Quigley dances to the song by SSQ. It's called Tonight. Or Tonight, what are these called? Parentheses. For a second, I was like, a lot of moving parts here, guys. We'll make love till we die. So that's like been stuck in my head. But of course, if you know me and you've tuned in long enough, you know how Scott's mom, not Scott's mom Tangy, but just Scott's mom, appears in my lyrics. So I've just been like, Scott's mom. Maybe it had to have been there. I'm sorry. So, just kind of, you want some grass up here to sort of establish her in space here in the foreground. And again, this all makes sense once we throw some color into it, too. So, we're going to get bring her back out here because she's kind of disappearing again. And she's going to be, at the end of the day, she's going to be the whitest thing in the painting. So that's where it's like you don't want to go too far. Oh, sorry. See, I broke my own rule. I put a line there when I should have put it there. Scott's mom. We'll make love till we die.
So how's everyone else's Monday been today?
Brian King, are you safe and sound? Miss Cherry Delight, are you safe and sound?
Are you all safe and sounds?
I think we're going to, as one of the teachers at SVA puts it, have dessert. Which is when you go and you actually put in, detail and fun stuff. So sometimes she'll tell you, she's like, well, normally you'd, underpaint and you'd put all the highlight and shadow in, but she's like, why not have dessert now? Put those eyes in. I think it's cute. Here, because I'm going to make it a little bit more, exaggerated just a little bit.
Yeah, because that really was kind of like a Ronald McDonald with red hair, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to add some pink to it. I'm probably going to make it more pink. Make her more cyberpunk zombie. Let's see. Why don't we throw some detail while we're kind of letting that dry? Why don't we put, since we keep talking about, let's see. Let's put your mom. And we'll put a year that nobody's died in. So, let's do, 1894. And then... Alright, so guys, give me some, epitaphs here. That's what makes this fun, is it's interactive.
Mm-hmm. But they're also a few seconds behind, too, so I think many...
Well, that's why I'm moving on to another place.
There you go.
Give them time. So just kind of carving these headstones out again, just to kind of bring them forward. And Linnea here is going to have a lot of... just going to black her. Bring her skull back here, because...
Melissa says to order up as an epitaph.
Order up?
Order up.
What does that mean?
It's done. It's your life is ready. Order up. Your mom is reminiscing about the kids watching Wizard of Oz.
I was wondering if she was going to cash in on that, or chime in on that, because she has a memory of that. Rose Martin, give me an epitaph. I still need to design Rose Martin's tomb, because like we were walking through Greenwood Cemetery and Rose was like, "Oh, I want everything. I want the obelisk. I want the like log. I want the like
Angels and
the angels and the scroll and the like the angel weeping and the like." I was like, "Oh, I will design you everything." Rear Admiral Floyd.
Yes,
Okay.
and your mom says, "I'm a stone."
Okay, that'll be right here. Okay. I have to look at how to spell Admiral.
I think you can get away with just AD. Or ADM. I don't know.
And then mom's was what?
I'm a stone. IMA.
I am a
Stone.
These are some good epitaphs, people. I'm excited about this. And doesn't it make it more fun that we all did this together? Like, I just think it's really, really fun. So, okay, so around these brains, because we really want them to be tantalizing, because that's the thing, is that she's like the sexy zombie. You're gonna be like, what? What's this naked punk lady doing? And she's gonna lure you into your death here. So we're gonna put some energy lines around the brain. And I'll also force all that stuff we just painted back into the background.
Cherry's asking, ever see a guy butt walk before?
Butt walk?
Don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, she's quoted a red guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that's Rear Admiral Floyd.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to do a Lou Adler. Isn't that his name, Lou Adler? Does the voice of Sexy Bear.
No idea.
He also does Cow and Chicken.
Yes, I know who you're talking about, but I don't recall if that's his name.
You.
Chicken. Oh, cow. Wait, I think I got that wrong.
Okay. Now we're going to get a little bit more bold. I'll take that pooch away later. Because some of this detail work I have to do, like, when it's flat and all, like, you know, you have to wait. Like, when you get to the fussy part of the painting, like, I imagine it's probably not a lot of fun to watch. So again, bringing these highlights back in, so we'll have her eyes, and then she's gonna have, like, a big smile, because she's just, you know. And then we're just going to go back here and throw some more hair at the wall. Because then when that dries, I can put the pink on top of it. And it'll like be these nice highlights. So you'll have like she'll have a well-ventilated wig for her undead debut. Okay, let's see. So, I think that this is probably about as far as I can take this right now before it gets boring for you all. So, you know, I mean, it's just a good, like, because then the next step would be to let this dry, which would take, like, 10 minutes. And then, you know, to go back and really put some more, like, with a fine brush and put some more details in, like, the lines here, like, really carve out her figure, because her figure, like, right here has gotten a little, like, she's a little poochy around the belly here than she really is. So I go back and take that away, and then just sort of, like, you know, with this face, like, paint the actual details of the mouth and the nose in. But as you can see, I mean, it's really shaping up so that, like, you know, this will be really dramatic and fun. So we're going to spin it around here and join Cubby back on the couch. Well, I cover up my paints because, again, we ain't independently wealthy here.
Nope, we don't want the dry out, because then it just becomes a nice big thing of plastic, sitting in plastic. And fortunately, you can peel them out, but yes, and it's a big butt. We don't want to dry out. So yes, oh, that moved.
Oh, so what's everybody saying here? Not really what? Miss Cherry Delight.
No, she's responding to, I think Teresa is asking her how she was doing, because Cherry's having a hard time here with her grandma in the hospital. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, just looking through here, scrolling as well. So, yes. Okay. Backing up.
Oh, that's interesting, Rose. I was sorry, guys. I was just reading Rose Martin's story about like a kid in her art class put R.I.P. Rest in Peace on a tombstone. The teacher had never seen it before. It failed him because she thought because she didn't think it was normal or common. Now, to be honest with you, I've never really seen R.I.P. actually on a gravestone before. I mean, it's always in like depictions of I mean, it makes sense because it's general and everybody understands what it means, but it's like, I've just never seen it abbreviated like that. I guess if I've seen it, it's actually said rest in peace.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess it sounds like she was a horrible person, but it sounds like
Yeah.
she didn't, for being an art teacher, she didn't have a whole lot of imagination there. So, everybody, I'm really, really excited. Well, what's going on with Miss Cherry Delight? Sorry,
well, she's, it's tough for her to be inside because, she's such an extroverted person, and, we miss her too, and she misses everyone and want to be out there, but then,
Yeah.
grandmother's sick, and, just 22 days of being inside, and, it's getting harder and harder too for all of us.
Well, what I think we should do is Rose Martin, remind me what that Filipino restaurant we went to in the East Village. But Rose Martin, Cubby, and whoever else wants to go, and Miss Cherry Delight, we should go to this Filipino restaurant because Miss Cherry Delight is Filipino, and they have like really hot Filipino like naked nudes like from the 70s like up on the board, like up on the walls. So it's like the whole time I was there I kept giggling because it's like, ooh, Filipino nips, which is a joke Miss Cherry Delight and I have together. So we should all go. They evidently serve the fertilized duck egg, which I'm not interested in trying, but like when we went there, like I realized that like everything's really family style, so like if more of us go, then we could like each get something and then share it, because they bring the like pineapple or the banana leaves out, but they had bone marrow, which I didn't try because I for some reason didn't see it on the menu, which I'd like. So let's like, that's what I'm thinking is like how we get through this is that we just footnote this stuff. We're like, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to make a date for it later. And, so that's what I'm thinking. Like, I'm with you. Like, I've been missing hugging people. Like, I'm really lucky I get to hug Scott, but, I mean, I like hugging other people, too. Well, I do. Like, I mean, I like, we were talking to Chauncey earlier today, and, like, I mean, he's kind of alone, too, and I just wanted to, like, give him a hug and just be like, oh, we're here, and, I mean, even, like, going out to the store and stuff, like, everyone's, like, I mean, it's like New Yorkers are not pretty warm to start with, and then you add this on top of it. So, yeah, I mean, we're all missing being cooped up. I mean, I keep going back and forth because, like, part of me is, like, I work from home and I tend to isolate in my anxiety and depression anyway. So, I mean, I'm kind of like, oh, like, I don't have to leave the house. I'm okay with that. Like, I get to stay at home all day and watch Cubby and paint and sew. Like, I mean, hang out with him and watch movies. I'm into it. But, I will admit that I'm, like, because I'm also an extrovert, too, like, in a weird way. I'm like, I really do need people to feel normal. So I'm definitely with you on that. And I mean, I know, Rose, like, you're kind of like me that way, too. Like, you both, like, you know, like, you like people, but then you also like your time by yourself. I'm very much, like, I'm like, I love people, but they exhaust me.
I'm like that, too, sometimes. Yes.
They're saying that it's so bad in NYC. Well, you want to know what, guys? Like, I mean, I'll be really honest about this. Like, I haven't been watching the news because, I mean, pretty much, like, I've been told to just stay home and that's all I gotta do. And I'm like, all right, enough said. Like, I can keep myself occupied. I actually just ordered some supplies so that I can make some masks for the doctors here. Like, I bought the filters they need and stuff like that. So, and I pulled a whole bunch of fabric out here, and, like, so I'm gonna do that. But, so, you know, I mean, I've been seeing Facebook feeds, like, people saying that they had it, or they're getting better. You know, my one friend died, like, but, the sirens were going off a lot for the last couple days, but I didn't really hear any today. Carlos and Steven live near Elmhurst, and the hospital's there, and he said that it's pretty constant. But we video chatted with them yesterday and didn't really hear stuff, so it's bad, but it's also, like, you know, it's sort of like New Yorkers kind of do step up to the plate when the shit hits the fan. Like, as much as you would think that they wouldn't, they do. So that's, but even still, like, walking around today, like, no one was wearing, like, there weren't a lot of people wearing masks, and, I mean, it just, like, I mean, there were definitely people being conscious of, like, space, but it just, you know.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Like, I mean, it's not chaos in the streets. Let's just, like,
No,
you know.
no.
It's not like that at all. And
no, just really,
yeah.
really, really empty especially for as nice as it was today, too.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So.
We went to the grocery store on Saturday, which, I mean, we kind of knew was, like, not the smartest day, but that was just so happened when, like,
we needed to go.
Yeah, and we had kind of put it off, but, like, you know, there was still plenty of stuff. There was toilet paper. You know, I mean, the baking section kind of goes back and forth between being really well stocked and not. But, I mean, I just think it's because everyone's home baking right now, which, you know, I'm not complaining about.
Yeah.
There was plenty of produce. I mean, it just seemed normal, you know? I mean, it was like the butter was a little picked over, but there was still...
There were a lot of eggs gone, at least a dozen eggs. I think there was, like, you know, the expensive organic in plastic containers, and then the 18 dozen and a half. And it's like, why not just get the dozen and a half? You're going to come back for it anyway. So, but yeah, it was more crowded than I was comfortable with. It was very uncomfortable being inside too.
They had finally marked on the floor what 6 feet looked like,
but that didn't
as
matter.
far as, like, waiting in line. But it's so funny because, like, I'm 6 foot tall, like, and so that's, like, it's me. So, like, I'm very. It was so funny because I actually, like, guesstimated it when I went to the liquor store today, like, because there was a guy in line, and I was like, all right, this looks about 6 feet down. And then I looked down at the floor, and I was like, my toes were right on the thing that was like, wait here, and I'm like.
Nice.
Blue whale penis length, like, away from people.
See, I always look at the tiles in places anyway too, because generally they're like 12 inches or 24. You know, there isn't like 12-inch increments or whatever, and even the sidewalk ones I think are like 4 by 4, 4 feet by 4 feet. And then I've also gotten used to, like, body lengths. It's like 4 feet is from the ground to, like, my sternum here. I'm 67 inches, so I know what that is. 3 feet is from my nose to the tip of my fingers, which is how I measure fabric. And then I always add a little extra because, you know, you could be wrong.
I think everybody just heard the blue whale penis. Like, yeah, look it up, guys. The blue whale penis, I think it's the largest mammal penis, but it's 6 foot long. So, I mean, it's basically the size of me. Mm-hmm. I mean, which makes sense because they're gigantic animals, but, you know, we didn't go to we were in Iceland this last summer, and the Penis Museum, it used to be out in the middle of nowhere, Iceland, and they moved it to Reykjavik, and, like, everybody, I guess, since they moved it, when we were there, they were like, don't go. don't go. Like, go to the gift shop and that's it. Like, don't go, which was kind of disappointing to me, because I kind of felt like that should be, you say those words out loud, Penis Museum in Reykjavik, Iceland, like, my mind automatically goes to, like, Bjorkland, like, but just with penises. And evidently they did not necessarily show up. But I guess they just moved, so maybe they're like still trying to curate.
Too, so we couldn't
so
even go in.
yeah, so I mean, in their defense, maybe it's going to get better. But or they need to hire me to to create a better flow.
Do their exhibit plan or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I think a penis museum would need to be like, because it's like they have like, penises in jars. So, like, I think they have just about every mammal penis, or, but I think they talk about insects and things like that. And so they have models, and then like, they do have a blue whale penis. They don't have a human penis, but I guess there's like a farmer in Iceland who's agreed to donate his when he dies.
I thought they had Rasputin's alleged penis.
Maybe. No, I think that's in St. Petersburg. But then there's a lot of debate about that, too. Because some people say it's a sea cucumber. Some people say it belongs to a cow. But the one I've seen looks pretty human. But, I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. Like, so you guys can give us your 2 cents about Rasputin's penis. I mean, he did have a reputation for having a rather large penis. So, I mean, it would also make sense because, I mean, that's a way to manipulate people. So, I mean, what are they calling it now? Like, big dick energy?
Yeah. Well, President Johnson was the same way, too. So, his name was Johnson.
I think if you're going to be President Johnson, like, I would kind of hope. But, it would look at us, like, speculating about...
Stories of him allegedly, like, whipping it out in a meeting or something like that. And it's like, boom, this is why I have the power.
Well, speaking of, like, goth industrial, like, Peter Steele, like, if you look that up, he, like, I mean, I know Miss Cherry Delight loves Peter Steele, and Miss Cherry Delight, when the quarantine is lifted, I want to go to Prospect Park with you, and I want you to show me his tree, because it's walking distance from my house, and I would like to go and hump it. Because I like Peter Steele, who is the lead singer of Typo Negative. It's super goth, and I mean, he had long hair, and it was like, I think he was like 6'4" or something like that. It was like this big kind of like Viking of a man, like, but I mean, again, in his defense, these interviews were done in like the early 90s, and, I mean, being gay was still not cool, but he posed for Playgirl, and then, like, after, like, the photos were taken, like, things were in the printing press, like, somebody, like, one of his friends or something was like, oh, by the way, that, like, mostly gay men read Playgirl, right? And he was like, what? And he kind of was, like, not super happy about it. And then, like, I think he was on, like, Jerry Springer or something, and he came out, and, like, all the ladies were swooning, and, of course, because, I mean, he's super hot. But he was just like, just for the ladies. And I was like, dude, like, come on. Like, I mean, you're a goth vampire Viking guy. Yeah. Like, I mean, I mean, come on.
You probably have a lot more fun if you explored your bi-side, so there you go. Especially for being...
Well, not even that. You just don't have to be, like, you don't have to qualify, like,
you don't have to be a dick about it.
The fact that you're able to take the breath of, like, everyone in the room, like, you don't have to say no homo at the end of it, so that, like, like, 10% of the room is suddenly like, oh, you were pretty until you opened your mouth. But again, in his defense, different time and place, know. I mean, I would like to... Alright, so Miss Cherry Delight's chiming in here. Oh, Peter Steele was 6'8". So guys, do the math.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
Big
I mean,
dude.
that's not always a qualifier, because, it's not always a qualifier, but sometimes it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, so magic.
And she's also curious, too, as if we think that the mermaid parade is going to go on in June.
Oh, so Alex is oh, sorry, what did you just say?
Miss Cherry Delight was wanting to get our opinion if we think the mermaid parade was going to go on in June. Delayed, I'm certain.
Honestly, well, Alex was asking this question, I'm going to answer that question, and then we'll wrap this up, because we're already, like, 10 minutes over. We participated in the cheering videos. I think that happens at 7 here every day. So usually at 7 o'clock, that's like the golden hour for us to get things set up here. So, and I don't really think anybody here is doing it because we don't hear it.
Yeah.
So, so no, even though I would. But to answer Miss Cherry Delight's question about the Mermaid Parade, I don't know, guys. Like, I mean, my birthday is May 29th, and I know that this is a real super, like, first world thing to be upset about, because, I mean, I'm first upset. Like, I don't want anybody to die. I don't want anybody to get sick. And whatever we got to do to make sure that we can minimize that, like, I'm willing to do. But I'm also turning 40. I mean, it's like a big deal birthday, and I don't make a big deal out of my birthday a whole lot, but this one I really want to make a big deal out of, and I just want to be out in the world, and I want to be able to hug people and celebrate and have a good time. So I'm really hoping that by the end of May, we're going to be at least back to some semblance, like maybe they'll open things up again to like under 200, or... But, I mean, again, it's hard to say. So, my hope is that by the time the summer solstice happens, which is usually when the Mermaid Parade happens, that we'll be back to normal. But, I mean, who knows? I mean, even, like, they might have to cancel it just because they can't throw it together that last minute. Because if they don't let people know until the end of May, then, I mean, like, can they do that? Like, I mean, is anybody going to put money up front? Like, well, maybe we get to do it, or maybe we don't. Or maybe they do it in July, or they do it at the end of the season. Like, I mean...
Well, we were talking with Chauncey, too, about whether Pride was even going to happen. And that's the end of June.
Yeah.
So, and that's a big question. Thank God it's not the 50th. But still, that's a big question there as well.
And again, I mean, this is
and my birthday's
first
June,
world,
in the middle of June too.
Like a privilege, like Mermaid Parade, Gay Pride, I mean, they're all important, but it's like
But those are our cultural things here in New York. It's just like the big one that's on everyone's lips is Easter. What are we going to do during Easter? And it's like, so like churches still want to have mass groups of people to get together.
Live stream it.
Whereas we want to have, mass groups of our fellow freaks out there to celebrate with on our summer high holy days of Mermaid Parade, Pride, July 4th, Memorial Day, Labor Day, those things,
Matt's 40th birthday.
Yeah, my 39th. So... but I think I'll give that up for Matt this year because it is his 40th.
No, I'm all about like joint birthday parties. So like
but it's your 40th though.
Yeah, but still, I mean, Scott, like, I mean, who knows? Like, we might have to do it next year with yours and just both be 40 at the same time. I mean, but I mean,
you could always do that. You could always just like, now's the time to take off a year.
Yeah,
and then it'll be your last.
And then
you turn 40 this year, then you're 40 every year.
Yeah, and then suddenly Scott and I are the same age from then on. Like, I'm not a year older than him.
Like
I'm just like, we're just,
we're pretty young,
we're both
right?
42, right?
I mean,
like, we're just 42.
I mean, we're a young 40, right? Right?
Oh, that's right, Marcia. You're a Gemini, too. You're going to be 48. Mm-hmm. 40... Great. 40 great. World Famous Bob is really good about that, which is her birthday tomorrow.
Aww.
We're going to talk about her. So, guys, just to wrap this up, we'll give you a little spicy preview of everything.
That's a spicy preview.
So tomorrow we're going to have a baking tutorial. We're going to... Linaire, you're commenting. I've been looking at your pictures and some of the things you have to say. I'm kind of interested to pick your brain because you're an interesting person. And watch the beginning of this video because we were talking about, like pioneers in the sex, like, nudity world. But we're going to be doing a baking tutorial. We're going to be making one of my grandmother's recipes because it's her birthday and World Famous Bob's birthday. We're going to have Marie Antoinette Day, which is probably going to happen Friday. And let's see, what else did we have planned? But yeah, guys, I mean, we're like, and keep it coming. Like, if there's more stuff you guys want to see, just let us know. Because we might run out of ideas. So
and I think tomorrow is a pink moon. Right?
Oh yes, Rose, thank you. It's also the full moon, so we are going to talk a little like
pink moon,
full moon magic and things like that. So if you guys like have any witchy questions or things like that, you can ask me, private message me. Don't forget to Venmo us at Matt Huff and Knife. And we'll end this like we end every Homo erectus. Nice is the new fierce. Freedom is no fear, and love is limitless. And we love you, and we will see you tomorrow at 8.
Have a good night, guys.